This is lesson 1.9 for pre-algebra. 1.9 is about dividing and multiplying integers. So here is our first example. So example 1 says deep sea exploration. After it is launched from a boat, deep sea rover descends 60 feet per minute. Where is it in relation to sea level 3 minutes after its launch? So use a number line to show repeated addition. So here is sea level, and they're going to throw the deep sea rover into the water, and every minute it goes 60 feet. So then it's negative 60, then negative 120, and then negative 180 after a total of 3 minutes. So then what they did is did 3 times negative 60, and they got negative 60 plus negative 60 plus negative 60 is negative 180. So here's some practice problems. Simplify each product. Remember when they use the word product that they're talking about multiplication. Whenever you see the word product, you should think to multiply. So try these problems, push pause, and then we'll come back. All right, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Remember the rule that a negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 also. And 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Pretty simple. All right, so here is the rules. Key concept, multiplying integers. So write this in your notes. Now, you might not want to write all this out. It says the product of two integers with the same sign is positive. So that means a positive times a positive equals a positive. A negative times a negative equals a positive. You might want to add this to one of your foldables on the back so that you have it for your test or quiz. The product of two integers with different signs is negative. So if you have a negative and a positive, you're always going to get a negative. That was just like the problems we just saw. The product of 0 in any integer is 0. I'm pretty sure you all know that. Okay, so using rules to multiply integers. Which procedure is correct for multiplying negative 3 times 5 times negative 4? So if you look over here, there's 4 different answers. Negative 60, negative 3, 3, and 60. So there's 4 different answers. So what do I do first? Okay, well, this is all multiplication, if you remember in PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Just because there's parentheses there doesn't mean you have to do the parentheses first, because there's nothing to do inside of it. That is really just multiplication. So what you should do is just multiply from left to right. So what you should do is do negative 3 times 5, which is negative 15, and times that by negative 4 to get a positive 60. So it would be this letter D. They try to confuse you because of the parentheses, but they really have no purpose. You could put a dot there and it would be the same thing. So try A, B, and C, and then we'll check our answers. All right, negative 4 times 8 is negative 32 times negative 2, which is a positive 64. This is 6 times negative 3, which is negative 18, and then you do negative 18 times 5. Remember the dot is multiplication, so that would be negative 90. And then lastly, if you look at this one, negative 7 times negative 14, you really don't even need to do that because of the little 0 at the end. So you know your answer is 0. All right, dividing integers. So put this in your notes also. Now, dividing integers is exactly the same as multiplying. So The quotient, remember the word quotient means to divide. A lot of people forget that. You want to write that in your notes too. That means to divide. Of two integers with the same sign is positive. So, just like I wrote before, positive divided by positive equals positive. A negative divided by a negative equals positive. And then if you have one of each with different signs is negative. So a positive divided by a negative is negative. And then remember that division by 0 is undefined. It's not 0, it's not possible. I can't take something and divide it by 0. So it's undefined is what the answer is. So try these problems and then come back and we will check. All right, negative 32 divided by 8 is just simply negative 4. I have a negative and a positive, so that makes the answer negative, one of each. The next one is negative 48 divided by negative 6, so that becomes a positive 8. And then lastly, I have negative 56 divided by negative 4, which becomes a positive 14. Find the average of 4, negative 3, negative 5, 2, and negative 8. So what you need to do is add them all together and then divide by 5. So you're going to do this. 4 plus negative 3 plus negative 5 plus 2 plus negative 8. So 4, I do it like this. 4 plus negative 3 is 1 plus negative 5 plus 2 minus 8. So 1 plus negative 5 is negative 4 plus 2 minus 8. I'm just doing one step at a time. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2 minus 8, which is negative 10. And then I divide by my 5 numbers. Negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. All right, that's it for your notes.